Have you ever stopped to think about what makes something? Well, good.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling you get from a really great cup of coffee or an app that just works perfectly intuitively,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe a car that feels solid, safe. We sort of instinctively know quality when we experience it, right?
We do.
But behind that feeling, there's often this whole world of really systematic thinking processes designed to make sure that quality isn't just luck.
Exactly. It's engineered in a way.
Precisely. And today, we're taking a deep dive into that very world, the world of international quality standards. We're going to pull back the curtain on the International Organization for Standardization, which most people just know as ISO.
That's right. And our mission today really is to sort of demystify ISO. What is it? How does it work on this massive global scale?
Right.
And maybe most importantly, why should you care? Then we'll zoom right in on the principles of one of its key series, ISO 9000.
Ah, the famous one.
The very one. We'll explore how those guidelines help organizations deliver products, services that are genuinely, as they say, fit for their purpose. It's about understanding the hidden framework behind reliability.
Okay. And we're grounding this whole discussion in a really helpful article that breaks down these standards, giving us a clear path through what can sometimes feel like a complex topic.
It's a great guide.
Okay, so let's start unpacking this. ISO, it sounds big,
Hmm.
formal, maybe even a bit, I don't know, bureaucratic. What actually is ISO at its heart?
Well, yeah, big is definitely part of it, but maybe not bureaucratic in the way you might think. ISO stands for the International Organization for Standardization.
Okay.
Think of it as this huge collaborative network. It's headquartered in Geneva, but it connects the national standards bodies from, I think it's over 160 countries now.
Wow.
And what's really interesting is how it works. It's not some top-down global police force for standards.
Yeah.
Instead, it's all about consensus. You get representatives from governments, from industry, businesses large and small, and critically, consumer groups too. They all come together.
So everyone has a voice.
Exactly. They work in partnership to develop these standards. So the standards end up being technically sound, sure, but also practical. Stuff that can actually be used in the real world, reflecting needs across all sorts of different sectors. It's quite a remarkable example of global cooperation, actually.
Over 160 countries working together on standards. That scale is just huge. And the source mentioned, what, over 24,000 international standards developed so far?
That's the number, yeah. It's constantly growing, too.
It's kind of mind-boggling. So when they create an international standard, what does that actually mean? Is it just a guideline, or how's it different from maybe just a company's own internal policy?
That's a really important distinction. ISO itself defines an international standard as a, let me get this right, documented agreement containing technical specifications or other precise criteria and guidelines.
Okay, documented agreement. Sounds formal.
It is, to ensure that materials, products, processes, and services are fit for their purpose.
Ah, there's that phrase again. Fit for their purpose.
That's the core idea. It's not just documented, it's an agreement.
Right.
These aren't just helpful hints, they're benchmarks developed by global experts, often capturing the best way of doing something.
Right. Best practices.
Exactly. And fit for their purpose means that thing, whether it's a product or service, consistently does what it's supposed to do, reliably, safely. It could be a tiny little screw, could be incredibly complex software. It creates a baseline of trust.
Okay, so it's a defined, globally agreed upon benchmark.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now, our source material specifically called out two big series of these management standards. ISO 9000, that's our main focus today, for quality management. And then there's ISO 14000 for environmental management. So they're kind of parallel tracks, one for the quality of the what, one for the how in terms of environmental impact.
That's a good way to put it. They share a similar management system structure, but their focus is different. 9000 is about consistently meeting customer requirements and enhancing satisfaction. 14000 is about managing environmental responsibilities.
And companies actually go out and get certified for these, right? It's not just theory.
Oh, absolutely. Organizations all over the world seek and get formal certification to specific standards within these series. Like you'll see ISO 9001.2011 or ISO 14001.201.
Ah, the numbers and dates. What do they signify exactly?
Well,
Like the 9001 and the 2015?
Good question. So the 9001 or 14001, that's the specific standard within the series that lays out the actual requirements for the management system. It's the one you get audited against.
Okay, the rule book.
Kind of, yeah. And the year like 2015 or the 2000 version we're focusing on from the source, that signifies a major revision of the standard. Standards evolve. For instance, that 2000 revision of 9001 really pushed towards managing processes and focusing on the customer, moving beyond just, inspecting things at the end of the line.
I see. So the revisions reflect updated thinking.
Exactly. And getting that certification, it's a big deal. It's an independent third-party verification that says, yes, this organization consistently meets these global requirements. It's a tangible badge of credibility.
That makes sense. It builds trust.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to you listening, why should you care about this huge global body and all these standards? Because honestly, whether you notice it or not, these standards are kind of woven into almost everything you use.
They really are.
Think about safety features in your car, or whether your phone charger actually fits the port.
Or the software updates that hopefully don't break everything.
Right, or even hygiene standards for the food you buy. These frameworks have a massive impact on reliability, on safety, ultimately on your trust in things. They're like the silent architects ensuring consistency. Without them, the global marketplace would be, well, chaos.
A lot more uncertain, definitely.
Okay, so this is where, for me, it gets really interesting. We've talked about the big picture, ISO globally. Now let's zoom in. The ISO 9000 series, specifically the 2000 version our source focuses on, highlighted 7 core principles for quality management.
Yes, these 7 points are really the foundation.
And they're not just vague ideas, are they? They seem like concrete pillars for building quality into an organization. Let's break them down.
Let's do it. These 7 really create that quality-first mindset. And the first one, arguably the most critical, is A, the role of top management in setting policies for quality.
Okay, leadership buy-in.
Exactly. But it's more than just signing a piece of paper. It means top leaders have to be visibly championing quality. They need to be actively involved, setting the vision, providing resources, talking about why quality matters constantly.
So it can't just be delegated away.
No. If it's seen as just a job for the quality department or middle managers, it often just fizzles out.
Yeah.
Leadership has to show everyone it's a strategic priority, not just some operational chore. They have to walk the talk.
Makes total sense. If the people at the top aren't committed, why would anyone else be? It sets the whole culture. Okay, so leadership's on board. What's next?
Next is B, statutory and regulatory requirements. This is about meeting external obligations. It's not enough to just have your own internal ideas about quality. You have to comply with all the relevant laws, regulations, industry standards.
Right, the non-negotiables.
Absolutely. The article uses the car industry as a great example. Think about safety standards, emission controls, crash tests.
Yeah, huge lists of rules there.
Exactly. Manufacturers have to meet those for every component, every system. It's about legality, public safety, and just fundamental trust. You can't just decide your airbag is good enough if it doesn't meet the legal standard.
Okay, so internal commitment plus external compliance. But then how do you know if any of this is actually working? How do you measure it?
That leads perfectly to C. Measurable objectives. This is crucial. Quality can't just be a fuzzy feeling. It needs to be quantifiable.
So putting numbers on it.
Precisely. You need clear, specific, measurable quality goals. And you need to track how well you're doing against them. Are defect rates going down? Is customer satisfaction going up? Are deliveries on time?
What kind of metrics?
Could be anything relevant: defect rates, return rates, on-time delivery, customer service response times. The key is choosing metrics that actually mean something and drive improvement, not just, vanity metrics that look nice but don't tell you much.
Right, measuring the right things.
Yes. ISO helps set up a system to figure out what to measure, how to measure it consistently, and then how to use that data to make things better.
Okay, so you've got leadership, compliance, and measurement. To achieve those measured goals, you obviously need, well, stuff.
Resources.
You do.
Yeah.
And that's principle D, resource management. This is about making sure the organization has everything it needs, the inputs to deliver that quality consistently.
What kind of inputs are we talking about? It covers a lot. People, so having competent staff, training them well, infrastructure buildings, equipment, technology, the work environment itself, making sure it's safe and productive, and even managing information and knowledge effectively.
So it's the people, the tools, the place, the knowledge.
Exactly. It's holistic. It's not just having the raw materials. It's about having the right resources, enough of them, and keeping them maintained and deployed effectively. A weakness in any area can undermine the final quality.
Okay, managing all the ingredients, essentially.
Yeah.
Which leads us to, well, the person who consumes the final product or service.
Yeah.
The customer.
The ultimate judge. That's point E. Monitoring customer satisfaction. The philosophy here is simple but powerful. The customer decides what quality is.
You have to listen to them.
Constantly. Organizations need to actively seek out and monitor customer feedback. Not just complaints, but understanding their needs, their perceptions, surveys, reviews, direct contact. Yes. And then, crucially, act on that feedback to improve things. The goal isn't just to meet expectations, it's to try and exceed them, because customer perception is so tightly linked to success.
Right. Keeping the ultimate judge happy. And the people interacting with those customers, delivering the service. Their role must be key too.
Absolutely. Which brings us to training effectiveness. The source makes a really important point here. Training staff isn't just an expense you have to bear.
It's an investment.
Precisely. It should be seen as a strategic investment. And like any investment, you need to measure if it's paying off. Is the training actually improving skills? Is that improvement leading to better quality, fewer mistakes, maybe more efficiency?
So measuring the impact of the training, not just ticking a box that it happened.
Exactly. Does it contribute to the bottom line, to achieving those measurable quality objectives? ISO pushes organizations to evaluate training effectiveness, ensuring that investing in people genuinely boosts capabilities and quality.
That really shifts the perspective on training budgets, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and the last one, number 7. This feels like it ties everything together.
It really does. It's G, continual improvement. This is maybe the most profound principle. It's the recognition that, realistically, 100% quality is never achieved.
Always room for improvement.
Always. But it's not about chasing some impossible, stressful perfection. It's about building in a system for always getting better, an ongoing process of refining things, innovating, learning.
Like Kaizen or PDCA cycle.
Exactly, those kinds of ideas. Plan, do, check, act. Always looking at processes, products, services, and asking, how can we make this a little better? Being proactive, identifying potential issues, pushing boundaries. It makes quality a dynamic journey, not a fixed destination.
Wow. Okay, that's quite a set of principles. Each one seems to build on the others. As you're listening, think about these 7 points: leadership, regulations, measurement, resources, customers, training, and that continual drive to improve. Which one really jumps out at you? Maybe you see one really clearly in a product you love. Or maybe you recognize a gap somewhere. Or perhaps it connects with how you try to tackle things in your own work.
It's fascinating to see how they connect, isn't it? Because if you step back and look at all 7, they're definitely not just a random list.
No, they feel interconnected.
Totally. They form this complete philosophy, really. You can't really have effective continual improvement, for instance, without measurable objectives to guide you.
Right.
Or satisfy customers consistently if your resources aren't managed well, or if top management isn't truly committed. Each one supports the others. It's synergistic.
Creates a kind of positive feedback loop, maybe.
Exactly. A virtuous cycle where everything works together towards a culture that genuinely values and delivers quality.
So let's bring it home. What's the so what for you listening? Whether you're working within an organization or just out there as a consumer, how do these principles actually impact the real world?
Well, fundamentally, following these standards builds incredible trust. When a company can show, credibly, that it operates this way, it signals reliability, it signals consistency. You know what you're likely to get.
Which comes from?
It comes from having those clear objectives, having staff who are well-trained and empowered because leadership values training effectiveness.
Right, the investment aspect.
Yes. And leadership's commitment creates a culture where people want to improve things. That drive for continual improvement often leads to innovation too, finding better ways, creating better products. It all links back to higher customer satisfaction, a better reputation, and ultimately more sustainable success. It's a practical roadmap.
So it takes quality from being this kind of vague, subjective ideal, that magic we mentioned at the start, and turns it into something objective, something managed, something that's always evolving.
Precisely. It's about designing excellence, not just hoping for it.
We've covered a lot of ground today. We looked at ISO, this huge global standard setter, and then really drilled down into those 7 core principles from ISO 9000 that guide organizations towards quality.
It's a powerful framework underpinning so much of the dependability we rely on every day.
It really is.
And maybe, as a final thought for you to ponder, if ISO 9000 emphasizes continual improvement, this idea that 100% quality is never really achieved.
Yeah.
What does that suggest about our own expectations, for perfection, not just in products, but maybe in ourselves, in our work, our lives?
Interesting point.
How might things change if we embrace that mindset more? focusing on constant refinement, on learning and growing, rather than chasing some kind of unattainable flawlessness. Could that change how we approach challenges, how we solve problems?
That's definitely something to think about, moving from perfection to perpetual progress.
Something like that.
A great thought to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We encourage you to keep exploring the standards, visible and invisible, that shape our world and make things work just that little bit better day by day.